Chapter 8 The Old Button Factory. The factory stood at the very edge of town. A wrought iron fence surrounded the property. The entry gate was closed with a padlock. A sign hung on the gate. Welcome to Dr. Wu's Worm Hospital. Dr. Wu does not treat cats, dogs, pigs, rats, snakes, turtles, fish, frogs, or any other creature that is not a worm. Dr. Wu sees worms by appointment only. If you don't have an appointment, keep out. We don't have an appointment, Ben said with a sigh. And we don't have a worm, Pearl said. But somebody in there knows something about dragons, or else they wouldn't be making dragon's milk. Without another word, she climbed right over the gate. Even though Ben would normally pay attention to a sign, he knew that without help, the little dragon might not survive. So standing on tiptoe, he carefully handed the cookie tin through the bars into Pearl's hands. Then he scrambled over. When his feet touched down on the other side, he expected an alarm to ring or police sirens to sound, or someone to holler, "You kids are trespassing!" But the afternoon was quiet. No traffic hum, no car alarms, no helicopters. "How come it's so quiet?" Ben asked. "It's always this quiet." "Thanks for holding the dragon," Ben said as he took back the cookie tin. He peeked inside. The creature lay in the same position, its small, scaly chest moving with shallow breaths. "The green stain's the same." "Good," Pearl said. "Maybe that means it stopped bleeding." A long driveway led from the gate. An overgrown lawn spread out on either side. Sparks of color caught Ben's eyes. He reached down and picked up a red wooden button, then a green one. "You can find buttons all over Buttonville," Pearl explained. "The pigeons collect them and put them in their nests." The driveway ended at a rectangular concrete building that looked like a fortress belonging to a mad scientist. The windows on all 10 floors were dark. Many were broken. As the kids neared the old factory, a sudden wind rushed in, rustling Pearl's hair and howling through the broken panes. "It sounds like the place is haunted," Ben said. "Maybe it is." Pearl pointed up at the roof. "That corner is where the dragon landed. Can you see anything?" "No, but if a dragon built a nest on top of this old factory, it's probably in the center of the roof, where no one can see it." "That makes sense," Pearl said. Then she led Ben around to the side of the building. "Look." She pointed to a metal ladder that ran up to the roof. "It's a fire escape ladder. We can climb to the top." "I don't want to climb to the top," Ben said. The ladder was rusty, and when Pearl grabbed it, it jiggled. While he was worried about the ladder coming loose, he was more worried about what might be hanging out on the roof. What if the mother dragon is sleeping and we wake her up? The wind picked up and a loud howl sounded. Pearl let go of the ladder. "We have to give the baby back to its mother," she said. "No, we don't," Ben said. "I've been thinking about it. Dragons are reptiles, right?" Pearl shrugged. "I guess so." "Well, reptiles don't stay with their parents. Right after hatching, a baby snake slithers away. A baby turtle swims away. They don't need a mom or a dad. So maybe baby dragons are the same." Ben clutched the cookie tin. "If the baby dragon doesn't need its mother, then I want to keep it." Something growled. Pearl glanced around nervously. "Okay, but it still needs to see a doctor. Let's try knocking on the front door." A note was taped to the front door. "The worm hospital is closed until it is open." Pearl knocked. Then she knocked harder. "Hello," she called. A light turned on inside. It trickled through the crack beneath the door. Pearl stepped back and grabbed Ben's arm as footsteps sounded. "Someone's coming," she whispered. A deadbolt released with a loud click, and the door creaked as it opened. The red-haired man stood in the doorway. "Yes?" he asked, his red eyebrows raised expectantly. He no longer wore the black raincoat. His white shirt sleeves were rolled up, exposing arms that could only be described as furry. A red vest and a pair of perfectly pressed black trousers made him look a little bit like a waiter in a fancy restaurant. He held an empty birdcage. Hi," Ben said. I saw you in the grocery store when you were ordering all those jelly beans. Kiwi-flavored jelly beans, the man said, the birdcage dangling from his fingers. That's when Ben noticed a small pile at the bottom of the cage. It looked like ashes. Are you the delivery boy? No, Ben said. Don't you remember me? You picked a hamster hair off my shirt. And I found your recipe for dragon's milk and gave it back to you. The man smacked his lips. Ah, yes, I remember. A Chinese striped hamster, delicious with pepper. If you are not the delivery boy, then why are you here? We need your help, Pearl said. Dr. Wu's worm hospital is closed. It's a big emergency, Ben said. Yes, an emergency. Do you have a sick worm? The man asked. No, Ben said, holding out the cookie tin. But I found something, and it's hurt. The red-haired man's whiskers twitched. His irises dilated as he sniffed the air. Do I detect a wyvern? He pressed his nose against the tin. Yes, indeed. My dear boy, you have found our missing hatchling. Hatchling? Ben realized that the man must be talking about the baby dragon. Do you know how to take care of hatchlings? Dr. Wu knows how to take care of most everything. The red-haired man shifted the birdcage to his left hand and then held out his right hand. I'll take it. You can leave it with me. I don't want to leave it with you, Ben said. I'd like to keep it. I just need Dr. Wu to fix it. Keep it, the man frowned. That is not possible. Then his gaze darted to the birdcage. The little pile of ashes began to glow, sparks rising as if it were the remains of a very tiny campfire. The phoenix arises. Wait here. He shut the door. Phoenix? Pearl said. I know what that is. I know all about birds. I have a bird nest collection. Then she went on to explain. A phoenix is a bird that bursts into flame, then is reborn from its ashes. Before Ben could comment, the door opened and the red-haired man, now empty-handed, stood once again in the doorway. Are you from the imaginary world? He asked the kids. Ben and Pearl shared a bewildered look. Then they both shook their heads. Then you cannot keep the hatchling. Imaginary world creatures are not allowed to live in the known world. It is against the rules. Known world? Imaginary world? A shiver slithered down Ben's spine. What was this man talking about? When you say the imaginary world, do you mean it's an actual place? Pearl asked. Of course it is an actual place, the man replied. Where else would the hatchling have come from? Then he cleared his throat. Oh dear, perhaps I should not have said that. A faint squeak echoed inside the cookie tin. Although Ben's head was swimming with questions, he knew the baby dragon needed help. Please, could we see Dr. Wu? Dr. Wu is not here. She is making a house call, but I am in charge during her absence. The man stepped aside. If you will not relinquish the creature, then you had best come in.